I made a huge mistake the other week when recording my electronic drums. For whatever reason, maybe laziness, maybe a lack of time, I decided to use what can only be described as the worst way of recording electronic drums. Because what did I do? I took a feed out of the left mono. So after filming, I come to edit the video, and what do I find? Well, of course what I find, as I knew quite rightly, was that I'm going to have one little slither of green to work with, and that's going to be all the drums just sort of bundled together in one track. And the results of this in my case were that the click was far too loud, the kick was far too quiet, and the toms sounded like they were sort of 10 feet away from the rest of the instrument. Now this upset and concerned me because as somebody with a channel all about electronic drums, I can't really be putting out sort of rubbish sounding electronic drum videos. Well, I did, actually. To be honest, I did do that. But in my slightly weary and perhaps depressed state, I did what any reasonable person would do. I crept downstairs late at night, a little bit confused, maybe, alone, and, well, I never can pick this thing up. I went on eBay. This is a Focusrite Clarett 8 Pre X audio interface, for which I paid £388, just under 400. Now, it's a little bit older, maybe. It's a little bit tubbier, that's okay. We all get a little bit tubbier as we get older. And it comes with a type of Thunderbolt input. Well, I think it's just Thunderbolt that I've not really experienced before, but it did come with this adapter. Came with a box, it came with the power supply, and I've plugged it in and it all seems to work. So why did I buy a slightly aging but admittedly very powerful, previously £1,000 when it was new, audio interface? Well, to explain that, we need to go back to the studio. I really need to put these drums away. This is my current setup. I have a Scarlett 18i8 Gen 3 audio interface, which I've had for a number of years, and it's been absolutely flawless. It sounds great, it's good value for money, and it's still worth around £350 to £400 on eBay. So when I saw the Clarett, I was like, well, I could upgrade this, but there's a very specific reason why I wanted to do so, and why I chose to use a mono output for my video the other week. A few months ago, I bought this 8-channel wiring loom. It's just basically 8 jack-to-jack leads, all loomed together nice and neatly so that I can plug them all into my Roland TD30 and then loop them around the room. It's about 5 meters long, and plug them into the interface. However, they are a bit of a nightmare. In order to explain why these are a nightmare, I need to tell you a little bit more about my setup here. So this room is very much dual purpose. I have my acoustic kit over here with lighting overhead and with microphones on the kit, always ready to record, so that if I have somebody ask me about a studio session, I can plug straight into the Scarlett over there and I can hit record. That's great. But as you guys will know more than anyone else, I also regularly make videos on my TD30 electronic kit. I used to only use this room to record acoustic drums, and it was only when I started Electronic Drum Tips, this channel, that I started to record electronic drums as well. And this became a bit of a problem because I would always have all of my microphones, all my XLR leads plugged into the Scarlett, ready to go, using all 8 channels on it. And every time I wanted to record electronic drums, if I wanted, you know, a decent sound and not the left mono that I got the other week, then I would have to basically get 8 different jack-to-jack leads, and I would have to unplug all my microphones, and then I would have to plug them all in. Now, I thought I'd solve this by buying the loom, because I was like, you know what? There's lots and lots of jack inputs on the back of this. So I spent 50 quid on a loom, and then realised that says line out. Line outputs. They're not inputs at all. They're to take, I think, a headphone feed, you know, to monitor basically if you're recording, so that you can give different people different headphone feeds. So when the loom arrived, I realised that I would still have to unplug all of my XLR leads and plug them back in every time I wanted to record acoustic drums. Just before Christmas, I had somebody come over to use my studio. They recorded some songs, they used my kit, used my mics, and I kind of ran the session. So the last thing that I'd recorded was acoustic drums, XLRs, in the front of this and in the back of this. And when I came to film my video the other week, playing to click, I didn't have much time, so all I did was I took out the first of the XLR ports and then just basically put it into input 1 and hit record. Now, there's a very good reason why I bought the Clarett above any other interface. Partly it's Focusrite, and Focusrite stuff is absolutely killer for the money. But the Clarett is basically the step up from the Scarlett. It's like got better preamps, and it's got a lower noise floor and all that kind of stuff. It gives you better headphone monitoring. But when I saw one on eBay, I realised that it has separate mic and jack inputs. This is great because I could then leave the XLRs in one, the jacks in the other, and all you do is go on your computer and you just switch between line and mic. I thought, brilliant, that's going to solve the problem. And then the Clarett arrived at my doorstep in its nice packaging. And I suddenly thought, you know what, for the sake of 300, 400 quid, why don't I just keep both interfaces? Because this still isn't going to solve the problem, even if I switch over the XLRs and jacks, because I have to use my computer to do so, and I don't record on my computer. I record on my iPad with the Logic Pro app because it's much easier for me. And also, it doesn't solve the problem of having to reset the bloody levels, because they're the same twiddly knobs on the front for the jack and the XLR. I can use the slightly lesser Scarlett for my electronic kit because I don't really need amazing preamps. I mean, you know, the Roland's got all the power I need and I can just set the levels and leave it basically. And then use the Clarett to actually upgrade my setup for the acoustic drums. I can plug them all in and leave the levels and that's it. This is going to give me a better sound and that's going to make my life easier. But if there's anything you'd like to see me try to do to this, I could do like a comparison to see if a better interface makes any difference to the sound you get out of an electronic kit. Is that good? Is that interesting? Let me know. But there we go. That's why I spent £400 to save 10 minutes. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, then leave a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for some more electronic drum tips, and I'll see you again before too long.